Hello and welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, I am making a video series that will be focused on pairing cocktails with video games. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. Today we will be talking about a true classic in both the cocktail and the video game. The video game today we will be talking about is Red Dead Redemption 2. I will be reviewing the PC port, and to say the PC port was rough is a little generous. PC gamers were unable to even turn on the game upon launch. It was also the first game I bought on the Epic Store, which is a different story for another day. As for the cocktail today we will be making, it is the classic Old Fashioned. Red Dead Redemption 2 for PC was released little over a year from the initial console release, which meant I had over a year of people telling me how amazing Red Dead Redemption 2 was before I even had a chance to play it. So I knew I was going to buy it day one. But upon actually getting my hands on the game, I quickly discovered there were numerous bugs. This one time, I went into my graphics settings and adjusted some things. Then when I closed out the game and tried to start it again, it had locked me out. I actually had to go in and delete the graphics settings file. After multiple patches and a lot of Googling, I did manage to get the game playable. Then, a little more Googling, I actually got it running smoothly. In the game's defense, I can't tell if this is just future-proofing settings for more powerful machines down the line, or if it's a poorly optimized port. But once you get past all of that, the game is absolutely amazing. It oozes atmosphere out of every crevice. You play as Arthur Morgan, an outlaw and a member of the Van der Linde gang. The game is set in 1899 during the beginning of the downfall of the Wild West, and as that is your backdrop, you will survive against government forces, rival gangs, and the very wilderness that surrounds you itself. What can be said about the Old Fashioned? I don't know, what can be said about the Old Fashioned? Well, it is so old that it actually got its modern name in 1860 when people would go into a bar and ask the bartender to make a drink in the old style, which quickly became known as an Old Fashioned. Its simple ingredients have made it so accessible. You probably have all the ingredients lying around your house. Water, sugar, bitters, bourbon or whiskey. Well, that's all you need for this drink. It's as simple as build-in glass, large ice cube, multiple smaller ones, crack them. There is many different opinions on which ice is best for this drink, but it really comes down to personal taste. The proportions of this cocktail are just as simple. 1 ounce of our simple syrup, which today I'm doing 1 part water with 1 part brown sugar. I throw in some orange and lemon peels for a hint of citrus, then 2 parts bourbon and a few drops of bitters. Red Dead Redemption 2 is a prequel to the original, but it really doesn't tie itself down with much baggage. It hits all the set pieces that you are looking for in an Old West game. Robbing banks? Check. Robbing trains? Check. High-speed wagon chases? Also check. That is to say, everything you've seen in your grandpa's Western movies is right here for you to enjoy. The band of characters is where the game really shines. Dutch, as the leader, is so nefarious, he's always cooking up some terrible plan. Micah is going to be one of those characters you just love to hate. Even the side missions, where you are interacting with NPCs, some are so memorable, like a photographer who has some bad luck when it comes to wildlife. The most interesting aspect of the game is that it really lets you set your moral pace for your experience. With your interactions with NPCs, Do you want to wear a white hat and save the day, or do you want to be feared and give your enemies no quarter? The voice acting is also of particular note. It is stunning, and it really just pulls you in as you start to begin to feel for this band of misfits. The way that Rockstar balances collectibles, side quests, main story, and even just free roaming is really something amazing to behold. I never quite felt overwhelmed with any of the objectives. If I wanted to go and collect all of a certain collectible, I would just kind of set it out and go do it. The map never really gets too clustered or overwhelmed, which really is just a great statement of how Rockstar has crafted this experience. With that said, the UI can be a little confusing and convoluted, especially when it comes to stamina, health, all those little kind of like sidebars you need to keep an eye on. It really would have been nice just to be a little more streamlined, in my opinion. That said, all of these ingredients really do come together to make such a phenomenal game. Crafting this cocktail is as simple as cocktails get. You're going to start with a rocks glass, put in some ice, then we are going to take 2 ounces of bourbon or rye. I find bourbon to be sweeter as it is made from corn mash, giving it some sweeter notes. Next, we are going to take 1 ounce of our simple syrup, that is 1 part brown sugar, 1 part water, and orange and lemon peels to give a hint of citrus. Next, we're going to take some bitters. You can use Angostura bitters, or I've decided to use some chili bitters as I think the heat might give a nice little pairing with the sweetness. Now, when you're stirring, you're going to want to put the back of the spoon against the glass and make sure you get a good vortex inside so that everything is getting properly mixed together. Now, you're going to take an orange peel, and one pet peeve of mine when it comes to garnish has always been garnishing away from the glass. When you garnish, you should garnish over top of the glass so that all of those essential oils go into the drink. So what we're doing with the flame here is we are puckering the skin so that when we squeeze it, the juices will escape and cast a nice little flame, which will caramelize the citrus oils and make it sweeter to drink as well. Enjoy! In closing, Red Dead Redemption 2 is a masterpiece. Minus a few issues at launch, the package you actually play is amazing. So, much like this cocktail that is ubiquitous with cocktails, I assume that this game will be as notable in its own genre. The thing that I love about the Old Fashioned is it really boils down the basics of cocktail creation. Bourbon is our base, simple syrup is our modifier, and bitters for flavoring. And once you get comfortable with interchanging 1 or 2 of these ingredients to kind of create your own cocktail and put your own spin on it with your own personal flavor profiles, you're going to start feeling a lot more comfortable creating basically any kind of cocktail. With all that said though, I am recommending a second round of both the game and the drink. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any suggestions for a game or a drink I should do next, please leave it in the comments. And as always, please like, comment, and subscribe. And I hope to see you around real soon.
I hope so, Dutch.